Welcome boys and girls from YouTube, my name is Sloth, this is a SlothForge, and in today's video I want to show you not one, but two teams for Tamar, for the Continental Challenge Tamar. And not only two teams, but I also want to give you an in-depth theory crafting guide on how to rebuild those teams, because you don't need those particular heroes, or at least for one of those teams, you don't need those particular heroes. Now for the second team, or actually the team that I'm going to show you first, it is using Dragonheir, because he is just so strong and there is no alternative for him. Or yeah, there are alternatives for him, but the alternatives for Dragonheir won't perform as good as Dragonheir does. Now when it comes to the other heroes in the first team, there are alternatives for all of them, and also for the second team, which is relatively similar to the first team, there are also those heroes are not mandatory. They are absolutely flexible. And it is way more about talents, gear, positioning. So this is why this guide will definitely be helpful for you as well, even though if you don't have access to the heroes that I'm going to show you. Now, sadly, and I really have to apologize for this, I already logged in my results, because it was like, I've been testing those themes for the whole day, the whole afternoon, and also the whole evening, and suddenly it was like 4 o'clock in the morning. I did not pay enough attention, and then I accidentally saved my run. So I'm very sorry for this, but this is not the end of the world. This is absolutely no problem, to be honest with you, because we can just go in the sparring ground. But before we go into the sparring ground, let's have a look real quick at how Tamar actually, what she does. First, her skills, or her passive skills. She gets more damage the more debuffs there are, or the more stacks of debuffs there are on her. So yeah, this means that we want, or a very strong team, the probably strongest team for Tamar is a poison team, because your poison heroes will stack up their debuffs very quickly, up to 40 stacks probably, relatively easy, and you will also be able to keep those stacks up for the whole fight if you are rebuilding the team that I'm going to show you, if you're rebuilding the strategy that I'm going to show you. Also, for all different kind of debuffs that are on Tamar, she deals less damage. And the longer the battle goes, just like all those Continental Challenge bosses, she gets those stacks. Now where is it? Yeah, she gets those stacks. Oh, no, I don't know. It is somewhere written here. Yeah, here. She gains more stacks every time she's casting her ultimate, so the longer the battle goes, the more damage Tamar deals. So this is why it is very useful as well to bring many different debuffs, just so that her damage dealt decreases by up to 50%. And that's pretty much. Apart from that, she can inflict attack penalty, which is not the biggest issue. The biggest problem that she causes is the stun that she applies on you, or inflicts on your whole team. And it is an AoE stun. She can also dispel buffs. She can replace those buffs that she dispelled with a buff prohibition. So a very annoying ultimate. But there is a very good strategy to avoid all the struggle that she causes. And you probably already saw this strategy, because many people talk about this. Many content creators probably already showed you the strategy, so it is nothing new. It is all about the Stand United skill. It is a very strong, very useful skill. All your allies that stand next to the hero that has the Stand United skill, or talent, it is a talent, sorry, gain 20% of the hero's resistance at the start of the battle. So very, very, very strong talent. And the idea is just to use this talent on your Ogok. Now, Ogok is not 100% mandatory, but yeah, he has access to the Stand United abilities, so he is just perfect for this case. Now, you could, in theory, use any hero that has access to the Stand United talent. And then you want to build this hero with resistance. And at least you want 450 resistance, or you don't want at least, but I would recommend to go for 450 resistance or more, because then you get 90 resistance on all other heroes that are standing next to, in this case, Ogok. So then, if you have 90 additional resistance thanks to the talent, and another 120 resistance from the negative rune, this is already 210 resistance. And if you then also have the 50 plus resistance from the elemental affinity, you already have your needed resistance to resist Tamar's buffs or debuffs, because you need it is recommended to go with 260 resistance. So actually all you need from your equipment is a negative rune, because a negative rune provides 120 resistance, which is exactly the number that we need to reach the 260 resistance on all of our heroes with only one item. So we are changing a little bit of damage for the debuff immunity, which is extremely valuable. So this is the first part. When it comes to building a Tamar team, you probably want someone with the Stand United talent, build him with around 450 resistance, then go for the resistance node in the elemental affinity. This is relatively cheap. I think it's 3,000 so for each point. So overall 15,000 psychic core. It is a little bit, sure, but it is not that much actually. For 50 resistance points, it is very much worth it. And then all you need is this negative rune. This is a very, very good strategy. And it is not only useful for the Tamar boss, you can use this strategy on other bosses as well. Now, this is the most important part. You want to reach your resistance thresholds on all of your heroes. Now, the next part. It is about how do we reach those 40 stacks of poison, and how do we keep them up for the whole fight? And the answer is relatively simple. It is Corrin. Corrin is perfect for this scenario because of his ultimate. He refreshes the duration of up to 30 poisons, and then also triggers a poison explosion. So actually he is also dealing a little bit of damage, but he is not here for DPS. He is here for his ultimate, because this ultimate is very good and it helps you just to keep those poison stacks up for the whole fight. That's it. So what do you want from your Corrin? You want accuracy. You want enough accuracy to land your debuffs, to hit your debuffs. And apart from that, you just can build him with some attack and some enlightenment, so he deals more damage. But it is, as I said, not needed. It is not mandatory. Only important is that he has enough accuracy and he has the Rift Hourglass. You don't need the Rift Hourglass. In theory, you could use other equipment, other gear that provides you some skill haste, but it is the easiest if you just go with the Rift Hourglass, because it provides you those 100 extra points and skill haste, and then you can cycle through your ultimate fast enough. Also, it provides a bit of accuracy, which is also very, very useful. And as you can see, I have built him with a Puppeteer's Inspiration set, because we are using him on default skill timings. So he's using his ultimate very frequently, so he helps your team just to cycle faster through their skills as well. But we will talk about the skill timings in the next part. So this is Corrin. He is one of the key heroes in this team. Now, the next hero, I already said it, in the first team is SlothForge. And he's also, actually, he's very easy to build. You just want high enlightenment, high attack. That's it. We don't want any accuracy on our SlothForge. We don't need any crit rate or crit damage. We just want high numbers of enlightenment and attack. And that's it. The more enlightenment, he scales extremely well with enlightenment. So you want to prioritize enlightenment over attack. As you can see here on my chest, I also have enlightenment. And then he will deal very, very high amounts of damage. And apart from that, still, of course, we want the negative rune with resistance, because we want those 120 resistance on every hero, as I already said. And this is SlothForge. Now, he is our main DPS. As our second DPS, I'm using Twitch. And if you have Twitch, you should absolutely use Twitch. But if you don't have Twitch, it is not the end of the world. There are many other poison heroes that work absolutely fine here as well. You could use Durango, you could use Ophelia, and you could even use some other heroes that I will show you in the second team. So actually, I saw some very nice damage ranking from Yathalia on the Tamar boss. So you could absolutely give Yathalia a try as well. Especially if you don't have any of the other heroes that I've been showing you. And as a second DPS, I'm using Vikana, but she as well is not mandatory. From what I've seen so far is that Durango actually is a little bit better for this team than Vikana, but I'm using Vikana because I have her at inspiration level 4, and I just think that she is very strong, and it felt for me a little bit stronger than Durango. So this is why I've been using Vikana, but she as well is not mandatory. But now, first let me show you real quick how Twitch is built. As you can see, I am using Twitch with the Witch Remains, so he loses a little bit of damage, but he is the best one in this particular team to apply the defense down because he has the multi-hitting ultimate. He hits 3 times. Yeah, three times. And you already build him with high accuracy because you want his poisons to land as well. So this is why he is very good for the Witch Remains, even though he is losing a little bit of damage. Because, of course, he would use another item, or if he could use another item, he would deal even more damage. From that, we just want to build him as well with very high attack, much enlightenment. Actually, I think it would deal a little bit more damage if he would have a bit more attack and a little bit less enlightenment, because those poison stacks, they scale very well with the caster's attack. So this is why I would recommend to go with a little bit more attack and a little bit less enlightenment, or at least to try it with more attack and less enlightenment. Apart from that, I would highly recommend to use the death record set on more than one hero in your team, because all of your poison heroes deal derivative damage, and then all of your heroes can apply this debuff, which causes the enemy to get more damage. So this is why it helped me a lot to reach higher numbers when I've been using the death record set. But actually, before we talk in depth about the gear, first let's talk about the heroes. Sorry, I'm losing the point. Vikana, she is the final hero, and she as well she's not mandatory, and there are many different ways to build Vikana. Actually, the team that dealt the highest amount of damage was not using the fan, it was actually using the boomerang. But I think that way more people have access to the Queen's fan than to the boomerang, and it was only like a difference of 5 million or maybe 10 million, so absolutely not needed to go for the boomerang here. But if you really want to squeeze out as much damage as somehow possible, go with the boomerang. But the fan also works perfectly fine. You could also use, if Twitch is your main DPS, the fan on Twitch, but we will talk about this in the second part when we talk about the second team. Now, for Vikana, it's actually the same. High attack, high enlightenment, that's it. And I think that's it when it comes to the heroes. Now, let's talk real quick about the gear a little bit, and then we talk about the talents, because the talents are also very important. So, yeah, let's talk real quick about the gear. As you can see, I'm using the 3 ears or the Brotherhood Spirit set on Vikana, and this is because she is actually going first in this team. She hits even before the defense down hero, in this case Twitch, starts his ultimate, just so that everyone in the team can deal additional elemental damage. Yeah, all of your damage in this case, in this team, is elemental damage, so those increase damage by 15% is very, very valuable. So I would highly recommend to use the Brotherhood Spirit set on one hero in your team. Now when it comes to Lothar, as I said, he is very easy to build, only enlightenment and attack, and the negative rune of course with resistance, and that's it. And as you can see, there is much room for improvement, because he's actually literally using Flora's gear. All of those items are fire ascended, and it would really help. Those additional 24 enlightenment and 12% additional attack would really help my Slothfare to deal even more damage. So there is definitely room for improvement when it comes to this team. And now let's talk about Twitch. I just realized that I did not even show you a screenshot of the team yet. I'm not sure if this is the best approach. Maybe I should have shown the screenshot in the beginning, but now here we are. I will show you the screenshot in just a second. First, let's talk real quick about the gear and the talents. As I already said, on Twitch, I am also using the death record set, just because the more death record sets we have, the more we keep this debuff up for the fight. So this is what I would recommend to go with the death record set. Apart from that, he's just built as the other heroes, enlightenment, attack, and he also needs a little bit of accuracy so he can place the defense penalty. Now when it comes to Ogok, the Power of Tide set is by far the best set for him, just because it is very hard to reach the 450 threshold of resistance. So this is why I would absolutely recommend to go with the Power of Tide set, and also it just helps him, or not only him but the whole team, to stay alive for a little bit longer, because he can now perform this 5% max HP heal, and he will perform this relatively frequently because he will resist 2 debuffs per cycle, or nearly 2 debuffs each cycle. So this is just another 10% heal for the whole team every single cycle. So, and apart from that, it's relatively easy. I'm using the Solar King's Horn because he heals relatively frequently, so you can just have 3 of those 5% damage increase stacks up, not for the whole fight, but for a very long period of the fight. And the last hero is Corrin, where I'm using, as I already mentioned, the Puppeteer's Inspiration set. You don't need this set on Corrin, you just need it on someone in your team. And if you're using the Puppeteer's Inspiration set on a hero in your team, there is one important note. The hero that is using the Puppeteer's Inspiration set should always be the first or the last hero in your rotation. I personally find it a little bit easier if it is the hero last in your rotation that is using the Puppeteer's Inspiration set, at least for the first cast rotation. From now on, it is absolutely fine if it is a hero that is just using his ultimate on default, but for the first cast, the hero that is using the Inspiration set should be first or last in your rotation. And apart from that, it's also very easy. As you can see, he has good amount of crit damage, which is absolutely wasted. This does not provide anything when it comes to damage, so he could be built way better. Way more attack instead of those high crit damage numbers would be very, very useful. But yeah, that's it. This is Corrin. This is the gear of the team. And I think I've already also talked I also talked about all those gear sets. So now let's talk next about the skill timings. So as I said, we want Wikana to go first because she is using the Brotherhood set. Then Twitch joins in because he now can apply the defense down. And right after, we are using Slothfore for his big burst damage. Now, when it comes to Ogok, I'm using a 17 first cast timer and then just a recast timer on 18 seconds, so he is in perfect sync with the boss until the end. And just keeps your team alive with his immortality buff for the whole fight. But there is also an important note. There is still a very small chance that Tamar still removes your buffs. So it is, I think it is like a 3% chance that she still is removing one of your buffs. So yeah, sometimes your team, someone dies a bit earlier and then just restart the run. It's not the end of the world. But yeah, sometimes your heroes just die because of bad RNG. And yeah, that's it pretty much. And now, as I said, in this case, Corrin goes last on the first cast because he has the Puppeteer's Inspiration set, and from now on he just recasts his ultimate on default. And that's it. Those are the skill timings. Nothing special, to be honest. And now the last part, and this is also very important, are the talents. Now, a very big amount of your damage actually comes from the talents. And one very strong and important talent is the bind talent, because it increases the duration of your poisons by 3 seconds. So you just can relatively easy keep your poison stacks up for up to, you can reach the number of 40 stacks very fast, and then you can keep this number of 40 stacks up for, I don't know, like 95% of the fight. So this is very strong. But what is even stronger on the talent tree is the Rampage talent, because it just increases your overall damage by poison by 30%. And a very big amount of your damage actually comes from those poison ticks. So the Rampage talent also very, very strong. And I'm using it on Twitch, Ikana, and also the top row obviously on Sloth, because instead of the Rampage he has the Deep Midnight, which is such a strong talent. Now for Ogok I already showed you the talent. It is all about the Stand United talent. And for Corrin I'm actually using the middle row, or the middle path, because of this talent. Now those talents are also very useful, just help you to place more poisons, but the Toxic Embrace is also very, very useful, very important talent. And I would highly recommend to use this talent on at least, or one hero is enough, but one hero in your team should use the Toxic Embrace. The Toxic Embrace talent, because it just generally shortens the poison trigger time by 1 second. And I tried, as I said, I tried this team, not only this team, but the other team even more, for hours. It felt like I've been trying this the whole day. And it does not help if you have more heroes with the Toxic Embrace set. It also says here that it does not stack, but I still tried it. So you don't need more than one hero with the Toxic Embrace set, but it is highly, highly recommended to use one hero with the Toxic Embrace talent. And I think actually that's it. It's a bit more than 20 minutes. I'm sorry, guys, but as you saw, there is much of theory when it comes to this team, and it is nothing here is really mandatory apart from Sloth if you want to reach the highest damage numbers. But you can just use any other DPS unit instead of Sloth and rebuild this team, and you will still easily reach more than 200 million damage. But now first, let me show you the screenshot of this team. As you can see, 263 million, and I'm absolutely sure that there was way more room for improvement. Like I said, I accidentally actually saved this run. I would have loved to run this team even 2 or 3 hours more, just to try some different things. But yeah, tomorrow the next rotation starts, and then I will definitely try to improve this team further. But that's it. As you can see, 263 million damage is a very fine number. Right now, this is the highest damage number that I saw someone on dealing Tamar on my server. Now, of course, there are way stronger teams out there, but also there is a relatively low inspiration level, and I don't have the exclusive artifact for Sloth as well. So there is so much room for improvement, and 263 million damage is a very nice number in my opinion. So I'm very, proud of this team somehow. Now, real quick, let me show you the second team. And before I talk in depth about the team, first I'll show you the screenshot real quick. As you can see here, it is also 212 million damage, which is a very good amount in my opinion, especially considering that we are using 2 epic heroes. And we just swapped Sloth for Eli. And Eli is also a very, very strong hero actually. Now in this team, there are some small changes. Where is it? No, here it is. As you can see, some small changes. First, now Eli is using the Witch Remains because he also wants a little bit of accuracy, because he applies many poison debuffs as well. So he already has accuracy, and he has a multi-hitting ultimate as well. So he is perfect or the witch remains. And this also means that now we can finally use Twitch as our main DPS. Now Twitch can use the statue of the serpent deity, and now Twitch starts to deal very good amount of damage actually. Like very good amount. It is like before we reach the 200 million mark cap, Twitch gets up to 600,000 DPS, which is very strong, especially considering that he is not inspired at all. Apart from that, his gear did not change that much. As you can see, he has a little bit less accuracy. Actually, this is not enough accuracy to land his debuffs. And if you struggle to reach enough accuracy, you can also go with the bottom row, because the selfish gains just helps you to inflict your poisons a little bit easier. Also, your basic attacks now have a chance to inflict poisons as well. And yeah, so the bottom path, the bottom row, is also a very, very useful talent actually. Also the devastating blow, it reads very strong, like those additional triggered poison stacks, but for some reason it just dealt more damage, or not for some reason, it just dealt more damage when I've been testing this, and I've been testing this, like I said, for hours with the rampage than with the devastating blow. It's because of this overall increase by 30% of your damage dealt by poison. Apart from that, as I said, the team did not change that much. Wikana is pretty much the same, with one adjustment, because now our whole team, all of those 5 heroes, are ranged. So I've been using the Dawnpipe organ actually, and had very good stats actually now, because, and as you can see now, if you use the Dawnpipe organ, you should focus a bit more on attack than on enlightenment, and because it just helps your whole team, your Eli and also your Twitch, to deal more damage. And your Eli is actually, he is dealing good amounts of damage. Like he's dealing up to 150,000 DPS. And as you can see, he has not even access to the Rampage set as talent. So there would be a little bit more room for improvement here as well. And well, I think that's it. I hope that I mentioned everything important. I hope that I showed the talents all important talents. Now, another very important part when it comes to Eli actually is his attack aura. It's only 18%, but it is 18% on everyone, so it helps as well a little bit. This is another reason why Eli is strong. And now this is one last quick note. Your Eli has to stay here. He has to stay next to Ogok, either left or right from Ogok. If he's staying where Wikana stays or where Twitch stays right now, he does not hit his ultimate, because his ultimate has this weird area. Like here, as you can see, if heroes have those skills, this is always a little bit cursed, because they don't have enough AI to swap or to change their position. So instead of changing their position to hit their ultimate, instead they just decide to not move at all and never use their ultimate. So this is why it's very important that he is staying either here, or in theory he could also stay here, of course. But he does not, he must not stay here or here, because then he cannot hit his ultimate. And well, I think that that's it. I really hope that I've mentioned everything. I apologize that I did not show the screenshot a little bit earlier. Well, this is a bit awkward. I have to think about how I manage this. Maybe I will show the screenshot in the beginning somehow. Maybe I will cut it in real quick. Yeah, we will see. But that's it for today's video. Thanks very much for tuning in, for stopping by, and see you in the next one, guys.